Hey everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to find the greatest common factor from a set of monomials. Okay, so first when you're looking for the greatest common factor between two monomials, the first thing you're looking for is the largest number that both of your coefficients can be divided by. So in this case, we have a 36 and we have a 48 as our coefficients. So we're going to look for the biggest number that we can divide both of those numbers by. Now we know we could divide them by, say, like 2 or 4 or 6. But the greatest number between those two would actually be 12. So 12 is going to be that common factor between 36 and 48. And then we're going to look for how many common variables they have or how many x's they have in common. The easy way to find this is just by looking at your exponents and looking for the lower of the two. So I have an x to the third and I have an x to the fifth. Okay, so we're going to use the x to the third because they would each have an x to the third in common. Okay, we wouldn't use x to the fifth because, again, we don't have 5 x's in the first one to have in common. Okay, so 12x to the third would be our greatest common factor between those two monomials. All right, let's take a look at a couple more examples. Okay, so in the first one, we have 40 and 45. Again, you're looking for the largest number that both of those can be divided by. In this case, it's going to be 5. Not too many options with 40 and 45, so that was a pretty easy one to figure out. All right, in the next one, we have, again, the coefficients are 24 and 28. Okay, so we're looking for what we can divide both of those numbers by, and looks like it's going to be 4. Okay, if I was to divide 24 by 4, I'd get 6. 28 by 4, I'd get 7. And neither of those would have any more common factors. So we know the 4 would be the greatest common factor between those. And looking at the x's that they'd have in common, I have x to the fourth and x to the sixth. The lower of the two is x to the fourth. So my greatest common factor there would be 4x to the fourth. Those are the largest factors that both of those monomials have in common. And in the last one, coefficients are 32 and 8. Both can be divided by a common factor of 8. Okay, we got multiple variables here, so again, let's look at each one. How many x's do we have in common? They both have x squared, so 2 x's being multiplied together. And then we have a y to the third, and this would be a y to the first. The lower of those two is y to the first, meaning that they each have a y to the first in common. Or just y. We don't have to put the 1 there. So 8x squared, y would be our common factor for C. All right, so again, to find that GCF, you are looking for the largest number that both of your coefficients can be divided by, and then you're looking for the lowest value of your exponent that both of your terms would have in common.